Never mess with a Sandhurst boy.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. With the Tekken Bloodline series coming up very rapidly, I wanted to do a tier list on which characters we can possibly see in the series. I think this will be really fun to do, just to speculate, to theorize, and also I think this can maybe give us an idea on what to expect and not to expect. Now, first what I would do is put all the characters who are confirmed. Already we've seen them in the trailer, so these characters are for sure going to be there. Okay, so I think this is every character that was shown in the first trailer. Jin Kazama, Jun Kazama, Ancient Ogre, True Ogre, Heihachi Mishima, Kazuha, Paul Phoenix, King, and Leroy Smith. Now, for those people who still wondering why Leroy Smith is in the story, I did a video already. You guys can find it in the Tekken Lore Explained playlist. But considering that Leroy Smith shows up, pretty much any character can show up. And first what I want to do is talk about the characters that should show up, that definitely should be in there. First I will talk about Xiao Yu. Now my experience with Xiao Yu just over the past 2 years really has changed. At first I used to underestimate this character a lot. I used to be like, why is she important to the story? She should be in Tekken 8. She's not that popular. But just learning about the story and also reading comments from you guys really changed my opinion on this character. I got peer pressured. I now see why this character is popular, and I now see the importance of this character. But even though I say Xiao Yu should be in Tekken Bloodline, I don't think her connection should be fully formed with Jin yet. In the story right now, they're kind of playing this will they, won't they, be in a relationship. But if you think back to Tekken 3, Xiao Yu at the time was trying to stop Heihachi from throwing Kazuha off a cliff. She was trying to travel back in time with some mysterious scientist, and that was her story. I'm not saying that's what they should do in the story, but I think maybe they can hint at some sort of relationship between Jin and Xiao Yu. They can set up the foundation for this story because they have a lot to discuss in this Bloodline series. Look at these characters. All these characters need to be fleshed out so that the casual, the average Netflix subscriber can understand the story. So I think they should lay the foundation, just put in some subtle hints so people know this is the love interest, but then move on. Next up, I would say Baek Do-san and Ha-Rong should also be in the story. Both of them. Of course, Baek Do-san, his big rumored battle with Ancient Ogre needs to be shown to us because we need to fear Ancient Ogre. The best villains are the ones who are capable, the ones who really cause destruction. So I hate to say it, but Baek Do-san must get destroyed by Ancient Ogre for story purposes. Nothing against the character, but for Ancient Ogre to be built up as a villain, because we all know he gets beat up by Paul Phoenix and he gets beat up by Jin. He needs to get a victory or two up until that point, and maybe Baek Do-san needs to be that. But also the reason why I say Ha-Rong needs to be there is also connection to Jin. They could start laying the foundation for their rivalry, and maybe we can get some sort of scene with Ha-Rong, Baek Do-san, and maybe Ancient Ogre. They can spice up the story a little bit, but I think, well, really it depends on if they decide to do more seasons. That's when Ha-Rong would come into play. Next, I want to talk about a character that should be in Tekken Bloodline is the older version of Julia, which is Michelle. The reason why she's important and the reason why I put her before Xiao Yu is because she had a necklace that played some role in spawning Ogre, in awakening Ogre. And what I think would be really cool too, if they also want to tie Kunimitsu into the story. Now this is just a what if scenario, but we know that Kunimitsu fought Michelle for the necklace, but Kunimitsu got beat up. What I think would be really cool if Heihachi made a deal with Kunimitsu. He say, if you help me get the necklace because you're a thief, right? Stealing is what you do. You get the necklace, I'll help you take the sword from Yoshimitsu. And that kind of gives reasoning as to why she would go after Michelle. That sort of adds more layers to the story. I think that would be really cool. Michelle needs to be there. Her necklace plays a role in Ogre's story, but you could tie Kunimitsu in because why else would she be fighting? I think that would just help the world building. And with that being said, you would also have to put Yoshimitsu. Now, of course, these two characters, Kunimitsu and Yoshimitsu, this is if they decide to do that. So I'll add a new category and I'll name that category, or I'll put what if. And down there, I'll put Kunimitsu and Yoshimitsu in the what if category. Oh, I forgot about Ganryu. Ganryu is already confirmed to be in there. Devil Jin, I'm not going to put him in confirmed because even though we saw him harnessing the Devil Jin, we didn't see the full fleshed out Devil Jin character. So it may be there. I say it should be there, but it is not 100% confirmed. Armor King. I think Armor King also should be there. The original king gets clapped by Ancient Ogre. All of the characters that is speculated to be killed by Ancient Ogre, the original king is the only one that is 100% confirmed to be there. And the second king takes note from the first king. Even though this is the Armor King from Tekken 7, just imagine this is the original king. The original king teaches the second king and mentors him through that healing process. And I want to see that play out in the story as well. They don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but just show that character development, just show that side of these characters. Also, Mokujin. The reason why I put Mokujin should be there is because, one, I covered a tweet literally like a few videos ago, but on the Tekken Twitter, they were talking about how Mokujin sensed Ogre's presence and he awoken. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't know about Ogre. Ancient Ogre, he wasn't alive for like a day or two, a couple weeks. Ancient Ogre was alive and active for 5 years. 5 years. When he first attacked Jun Kazama, Jin was about 15 or 16, the story says, but by the end of Tekken 3, he's 18. But even then, Ogre was walking around and active for 5 years. With that being said, Mokujin awoken as soon as he felt Ancient Ogre's presence. So that means Mokujin too was active for 5 years. They have to put him in there one way or another. Even if it's just a comedic gag, even if it's just a joke, he has to be shown in there some way, shape, or form. Also Bruce. Even though Bruce really comes into effect sort of in the later games, I think they still can show the bedrock, the foundation, the development of these characters' relationship. And I guess I would say the same with Nina. And it really depends on how much the story progresses. If it progresses a lot, if it covers a lot of time, then I will also say Nina. But Nina, I feel like more is a what if, just considering how young Jin is. My guess, by the end of it, Jin isn't going to be 100% on top just yet. Not season 1. Season 2, we could see him making a lot of progress, but season 1, I think he's still going to be in that novice role. But at the same time, Nina is like Tekken 2. She's more Tekken. Well, I won't say more Tekken than Nina, but just as much Tekken. The reason why I'm just putting these two here, Anna is a part of Kazuha. Nina is typically a part of Jin's team. And Jin is just starting off, so that means his team is going to be kind of scattered right now. Is this, oh wait, which law is, I think this is forest law or martial law. He should be in there too. France with Paul Phoenix, that connection should be made. Now in this portion of the video, I want to make another row and I want to talk about characters that should not be in the series. And when I say not, it's not like forever, but it's really like not right now. Your time to shine will come. But for the moment, we got to get these original characters out the way. And the first character that I have to say may not be in Tekken Bloodline is possibly Dragunov. Unless they want to show him doing some military stuff like in his hometown or whatever, but I really don't see him showing up and affecting the story. And I kind of want to say Eddie, but really Eddie is more what if. He has a big role with Kazuya, but if Kazuya doesn't really make that big of a splash, how can you expect Eddie to, right? He can also be one of the characters that helps Jin, but that more so is the what if. Really, I feel like if Leroy Smith is taking the place of Eddie in my mind. Leroy Smith, I feel, will be some sort of mentor or aid to Jin. Another character that I think will not be in Tekken Bloodline is Fakaram. They already put one new character. I don't think they're going to go the route of trying to sneak in 2 new characters. Also, where's Lita? I don't think Lita will be there. At the time of Tekken 3, I don't even know if she was Prime Minister at the time. She's Prime Minister at 29, but if you go back to Tekken 3, how old would she be? Where would she fall on that timeline? You know, I think she would probably still be like in politician school or something like that. But her story, I don't think would be developed. Also, Zafina, too early for her to show up. Alyssa, too early for her to show up. Unless they want to show like some prototypes and then like in like a case or like in a laboratory, we see the early stages of Alyssa being built. I think something like that would be cool. Just like the early, prototype model for Alyssa. It's all about world building. That's what I want to talk about in this video is world building. How they can connect and weave together all these loose, unconnected stories. I don't think Lars will be in the story. I think that's too many Mishimas to juggle all at once. But if he was, I think that would be more so a what if scenario. Bob, I feel like Bob could be, depending on how heavy they lean into the tournament aspect, Bob could be there. Lucky Chloe, no. Miguel, no. Jinpachi, maybe he will be hinted at. Maybe he will be, Heihachi will be like, oh yeah, my dad built this and, I did this and something like that. And the reason why I'm saying no to all these characters is like, I'm not hating on them, but I just think it's not their time to shine yet. These characters come later in the story, and as such, I think, that's when they'll show up, maybe in season 2, season 3. I don't think now is their time to shine. It's too early. Steve Fox is another, it really depends on how much they value Steve. Because Steve does have a lot of importance with Nina, and also he connects to the whole Mishima Zaibatsu, plot and story. And also he is connected to Paul Phoenix. So I feel like Steve is a more so what if, or really how many characters they want to juggle. Because look at this right here. I believe this is about 20 characters and confirmed and should be. That's a lot of characters for season 1 of a Tekken show. Think of how many shows you've seen that had over 20 characters in the first season. That's a lot of characters to juggle. Of course, we know these characters like the back of our hand because we love Tekken. But if you're just an average Tekken viewer, that's a lot to remember. Angel. I feel like this is more so of a what if scenario. Well, really, I think no. Because Kazuya, he didn't play a role in Tekken 3. I did a video already. He died and he was revived 3 days later, but he spent a lot of that time healing, scheming, plotting, planning. I don't think he's going to be active and functioning that much. We probably will see him in flashbacks, and even then, I don't think his flashbacks is going to touch on Julia, touch on Angel and stuff like that. I just don't see that. Kuma should be there. I would love to see like the casual perspective, the casuals reacting to Heihachi having a bear. For people who don't know anything at all about Tekken, I would love to see what they think when they see this guy has a pet bear. That would be really funny. Jack, even though this is Jack 7 from Tekken 7, I think Jack 1 or Jack should be there. Prototype Jack, whichever one. I'll put Prototype Jack. Wang, I feel like Wang is a what if scenario. Like I said, you have so many characters up here already. It just depends on if they want to touch on him or not. If they're planning on putting Wang in Tekken 8, I feel like he could be there just to get people more familiar with this character and who he is, and also why he's important. Brian Fury, even though this character is incredibly cool, I don't think it's time for him yet. It's not time for him. Fang, no. Katarina, no. Kazumi is really like a what if scenario. I don't see, well, because Tekken 7 retconned the beginning. So if they're doing flashbacks, and if they're, because they're starting in Tekken 3, so if they go back and explain Tekken 1 and 2, they would have to now explain her as well. So she maybe once again will show up in flashbacks. I feel like Asuka will be referenced because Jun Kazama passes or is killed or is missing, whatever. Asuka may show up and we may get some exposition or some story from her. I think Panda should be there. If Zhao Yu is there, Panda should also be there. That's usually how it's go. It does no harm to have Panda next to Zhao Yu in a cutscene, right? Josie, no, it's too early for her. Lei, I really should have a maybe section. Let's do that. I want to add another section. Now in the maybe section, I could drop a lot of these characters down. I could move a lot of these characters up. That would be really funny if they, well, I don't feel like they would do that. I don't feel like they would tease Akuma, even though I think that would blow people's minds and possibly confuse people. They'll be like, wait, is this like a Street Fighter spin-off? Like, I feel like people will be so, like, I really wish I can see the casual viewers' reaction to it, because we know the story. Dr. Boskanovich, no. Julia, no. What other characters down here? Lei, no. This guy, no. And then unknown, I really think no, but I'll just put in maybe. Gigas, no. The female version of Julia, no. Lily, I feel like is like maybe kind of like a what if scenario kind of thing. That's pretty much everything. If Christine Monteiro is going to be in Tekken 8, then I would say this character also should be in Tekken Bloodline, just to get people more familiar with this character. Because if you're going to replace Eddie, you have to be reintroduced, because Tekken 7 sold 8 million copies. That's a lot of people who may not know who these new characters are. So you need to tell them, you need to show them why these characters are worth playing, right? But this is the tier list. I just thought this would be really cool because it gives us sort of a, just like it breaks down what we can possibly expect. All of these characters down here in the no section, I really could change this no to like season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, right? It's not no as in they shouldn't be in there. It's just the story hasn't progressed enough for them to be in there. So maybe what if should be confirmed. How I'm expecting the characters to show up in Tekken Bloodline, I just wanted to do this because I thought it would be cool and fun to talk about. Hopefully you did too. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, but I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.